Hi everybody, it's Bob Chicano, and today I'm here to tell you about the jerk. And the jerk is the part of weightlifting that actually wins meets. If you're going to be a great lifter, if you're going to continually make progress in your total, determines what your placing is going to be, you've got to master the jerk. No doubt about it, the jerk wins meets. It represents over half the total. Now, you may be one of those people that's a real freak, that you're really strong and you can clean a ton, but you don't jerk nearly as well. You have to get over that. You have to develop a jerk that's equal in ability to your clean. Any well-trained lifter has a greater potential to increase their total by improving the clean and jerk than by improving the snatch. Just the clean and jerk just has a greater potential than the snatch does. Okay, so now if we really look at it, the jerk is simpler than either the clean or the snatch. The bar is moved a shorter distance. The bend at the knees and the bend at the hips is less than what you would use in a snatch or a clean. So it's a smaller range of movement. So as a result, your biomechanics for the jerk are much simpler than they are for the snatch or the clean. But the jerk is going to require more in terms of shoulder mobility. So let's take a look at a pretty good PR clean and jerk at both regular speed and at slow motion. So this is one of my former lifters, Christine Na, and you can see her. This was a PR clean, so it's a maximal lift. And here goes the jerk, boom, locks right into place. Let's take a look at that in slow motion, a little bit more close up. Extension of the knees and hips, pulling the bar up, racking the bar. Now, very important, she's catching it on her shoulders and not holding it with her arms. And she comes up and gets set, big leg drive, and then right from there, she's pushing herself under the bar. At that point, you're not lifting the weight higher, you're pushing yourself under the bar. So first thing to talk about, let's talk about grip width. Okay, the clean grip width and the jerk grip width do not necessarily have to match. There used to be a rule that said that you had to clean and jerk with the same grip, but that's no longer a rule. So most lifters move their hands slightly inward when they rack the clean, and then the grip can be adjusted prior to jerking. Most people take a slightly wider grip in the jerk than they do on the clean. And the jerk grip should allow for the best use of the arms in driving the bar and in supporting the bar. So most lifters move their hands outward as the bar moves from the shoulders to overhead. Now, as I stated before, shoulder mobility becomes an issue. If you're one of those people that does the bro workout, and I know there are even some women that do it, where all you do are benches and curls, you don't do any overhead lifting, you don't do any shoulder mobility work. If that's who you are, you're probably going to have trouble getting your arms overhead. So you may need to do some remedial stretching exercises. I recommend doing straight arm pullovers on a bench. Now, when you start the jerk, you need to relax your grip. If you grip the bar too tightly, it's going to slow down your arm extension, and you may miss a jerk as a result of that. So, as you see with this lifter, the bar is being supported by the shoulders, not by the arms. And I'll talk a little bit more about that a couple of slides away. So when you clean the weight, you rack the bar, you catch the bar on your shoulders, and the shoulders support the bar, not the arms. Okay, if your arms are supporting the bar, you may lose some of the force that's generated by the legs. So you want the bar to be supported by the shoulders, and then the drive that comes from the legs and the hips is going to transfer through your torso and into the bar itself. So leg drive Absolutely. This is what's going to make your jerk. This is the force, the greatest force that's going to be developed is from your legs and hips. Now, you should unlock your knees before you dip for the jerk. And the reason for that is if your knees are locked, when you go to bend your knees and hips, the first thing that bends are your hips. And when your hips flex, then you provide kind of a horizontal trajectory aspect to the bar. You want the bar going straight up. So you can do this by unlocking the knees. So you unlock the knees and then you begin the dip for the jerk. So the function of the legs is to provide the great momentum to the bar. So you're going to go down to the point where the flexion in your knees is about the same as it is at power position in the pull. And from that position, you're going to drive up and make sure that you get your heels up off the floor on the drive. A lot of people will start to split before they get this full extension, and it cuts down on the speed of the bar. So make sure you get up on the balls of your feet and your heels are off the floor before you move your feet. Okay, and the best exercise for developing the jerk drive with your legs is the push press, because there's a certain minimum height to which you have to raise the bar with leg drive before you can use your arms. So that's going to look like this. Okay, so that's a very good supplemental exercise to learn the mechanics of the jerk drive. And then the power jerk, once you mastered the push press, you can then work on the power jerk. And because you can't drop as low in a power jerk as you do in a split jerk, you have to emphasize greater jerk drive. You're probably only going to be able to power jerk, for most people, 85% of your split jerk. Now, if you're one of those people that can power jerk your max clean and jerk, you probably need to work on cleaning more. So let's take a look at the power jerk. And you can see it's a very explosive movement. All right, now this one is an exercise to work just on the jerk drive. So if you have trouble incorporating your legs into the jerk drive, this is an exercise that you need to use. And you're going to take the bar, go back from the rack, and just try to drive the weight up. You're not going to bother to try and lock out your arms. So this is a jerk drive. Okay, so what is the role of the arms? The role of the arms is not so much to drive the weight up, but to push yourself under the jerk. Now, some people, this athlete in particular, and the athlete that I showed you in the previous video, have a problem in that the upper arm, the humerus, is long in comparison to the forearm. And people like this have to get the elbows very high in order to rack the bar. People that have this leverage situation going on, they cannot use their arms until the bar gets to the top of the head or slightly above the top of the head. All right, so they have to wait to use their arms. Now, as the bar is going up, their elbows are going to go from the front and then out to the side. So this shows you with the elbows turned out to the side. And when you do that, that's going to allow you to lock the elbows overhead. And what we would really like is to have the bar, the ears, the shoulders, the hips, and the ankles in complete alignment once the jerk is completed. Now, for some of you, it may help you to work the ranges in which you are especially weak. And a power rack is excellent for that. A lot of people don't know how to use the power rack. The power rack was introduced as kind of as a gimmick back in the early 1960s. And it was in use by a lot of people at that time. I don't see it in use quite as much these days. So let's take a look at 3 exercises you can use to improve your jerking ability. One is a jerk press out. In the jerk press out, you're going to set the pins so that they're slightly below where the bar is going to end up in the split jerk. And you put the bar on the pins and get into a split underneath the bar, and then push the bar out up with your arms, or you're pushing yourself down, or a combination of the two. And this also helps you to feel the positioning of the bar if you're not quite used to it. A lot of people, if they've been doing a lot of pressing but they've never done any jerk work, have a tendency to look up at the bar, and that tends to keep their shoulders and hips from being in alignment with the bar pathway. All right, jerk supports, for those people that have difficulty supporting the bar overhead, and especially those people that don't know how to brace the core musculature when they support the bar overhead, jerk supports are excellent for that. So again, you're going to set the pins so that they're just a little bit lower than where the bar is going to be at final lockout. And then you're just going to straighten your legs. And actually lowering the bar slowly is going to help you develop core strength as well. All right, so, whoops. All right, if you get into this position where you've got a 90-degree angle at the front leg and a 90-degree angle at the back leg, then wherever your feet are, that should be where you put your feet in the split position. More on footwork. So what we're looking for on this is that the feet do not leave until the heels are up off the floor. All right, so watch this lifter performing a split jerk. Watch the feet. And then the recovery is front foot halfway back and back foot halfway forward. All right, and if you recover that way, the bar is not going to have a horizontal trajectory to it, and therefore you're going to be able to control the bar. Some people have a tendency to do the recovery by having the back foot come all the way forward. When you do that, that gets the bar moving horizontally forward, and therefore a tendency to lose the weight in front. Okay, some people allow the feet to leave too soon. Now, this lifter his feet are well off the floor. They've left the drive position, and the bar isn't even close to the top of the head. So make sure that you get the bar well on its way, moving quickly up on the balls of your feet, and then you're going to move your feet into the split. And the timing of the footwork, ideally, you want to have the back foot hit just a little bit sooner than the front foot. Ideally, both feet should leave at the same time, but the back foot should skim and the front foot should prance. And that means you'll get traction with the back foot first, and that's going to push your body slightly forward so that you're directly under the bar. All right, so let's take a look at that. Pretty close, but not as close as I'd like it. So let's talk about recovery. How do you recover from the split position? This exercise is called a jerk recovery. You can do this in a power rack. We chose to do it this day with jerk blocks. You set the bar height so that it is at the height when the jerk is completed in the split. Okay, there he is in the split and locked out, and the front foot comes back halfway, and the back foot comes forward halfway. Now, training the jerk, if you have to do extra work on the jerk, you want to do it after you do snatches and cleans because they're technically more demanding. They're going to put a greater demand on your nervous system. And any of these movements that I've shown you, the slower movements can be practiced later in the training. All right, so one of them is, let's say you've done snatches, you've done some cleans, or you've even done clean and jerk, but you need to do more work on the jerk. You can take the bar off the rack and perform a jerk off the rack. And that was a good shot of the recovery pattern. All right. And you can practice clean and jerks. Now, you don't have to do one clean and one jerk. You can do 2 cleans to pre-fatigue your legs and then do the jerk, or even 3 cleans and 1 jerk. This is 1 clean and 1 jerk. And good footwork on the recovery. Now this is a front squat and jerk. The front squat is not going to fatigue you as much as cleans because you don't have that explosive clean pull. But this will pre-fatigue your legs and make the jerk a little bit harder. So again, you can do this 1 or 2 front squats and then a jerk, or 3 front squats and then a jerk. So 1 front squat, get set. Now this is a very helpful exercise if you need to change your grip from wherever you rack the bar and wherever you start the jerk. So as you come out of the front squat, you can give it that little push that momentarily will make the bar leave your shoulders, and then you can adjust your grip during that time. You always want to make those jerk drive grip adjustments before you actually start the jerk. If you can do it coming out of the clean, so much the better. Standing presses are excellent exercise for developing shoulder and tricep strength. And that may be a weakness for some people. And the old stand by the bench. But when you do the bench, don't do it with a real wide grip with the elbows out to the side, because that's going to involve your pecs. You want to keep your elbows fairly close to your body as you bench press so that the emphasis is on your deltoids and triceps. So in conclusion, I'd like to wish you good luck at improving your jerk. You need to be conscientious about it, and you need to practice it if it's a weak point for you. If it's not, more power to you, and I hope your total goes up and you place higher and higher and even win some of your meets. All right? Okay, good luck to you, and we'll see you in the next video.